Today I will show you the famous Budapest Gambit variation. We will play as black. So let's begin. White begins with the queen's pawn opening. We reply by moving our knight towards the center. White then moves this pawn forward by 2 squares, thus initiating the Indian game. We do the king's pawn opening, and by doing so, we immediately turn it into the Budapest defense. Now, there are two popular replies from White. We will see them one by one. The first reply is to not to eat this pawn and to move right on. By doing so, it gains some more control over the center and brings some space for the queen. We then bring out our bishop to put some pressure on this pawn. Then White will do the move of pinning our knight on the queen. By doing so, they want to stop us from doing anything and to save our queen first. But then we will surprise him or her by forgetting all about the queen and moving our right towards here. Our actual motive is to put some more pressure on this pawn, but White may not know that, so he can get greedy and eat the queen. But then he has been checkmated. Let me show you how. We bring the bishop and eat this pawn, and doing so, he is a checkmate. That is because he cannot eat the bishop with his king, as it is being protected by the knight, and also he cannot run into this square because it is being covered by this knight. So in this first case, we win the game. Even if he identifies the checkmating threat, he has not much to do. He can try to block his checkmate by moving this bishop right to this diagonal. But then we will surprise him by eating this bishop with our bishop. He will obviously take back with his pawn. Then we will give him a check with our queen. From here he has nothing to do much. He cannot escape with this king into this square as it being protected by our knight. So the only legal move that he has is to bring out his pawn. Then we can simply eat this pawn, and by doing so we are pinning this pawn on the rook. And if you play this right, you can win the game. Now let's see the other variation. If White had taken on this pawn and not moved right on, then what would have happened? Let's see that. White takes, and by doing so, he puts some pressure on this knight. So we have to move this knight away. We do so by moving it to this square and put some pressure on this pawn. Now White will look to defend this pawn. He brings out his knight. Then we offer to change the queenside pawn. White gladly accepts the request. Then we take back with our bishop. Now White will look forward to move the knight out of his way. So if he plays a move like moving this pawn right here, he is doing a big mistake. We eat the pawn with our knight. Now by doing so, we put some pressure on the rook and the queen. So the king would have to take on the knight. And by that we lay the deadly trap. We eat with the bishop. We place the bishop diagonally to the king, and by doing so, we put a discovered attack on the queen. king cannot go back to support because then it is still in the check of the bishop. So king has to take back, and by doing so, we simply grab the queen. And then we are in a positional advantage. Now we can do another interesting variation. We can continue to attack the pawn. We will bring out our knight. Then white will put more defender to the pawn by bringing out his dark square bishop. Then we will give the king a check. He will try to block this king with this knight as it is the best move available for him. We will continue to attack this pawn by bringing out our queen. Now, white will look forward to trap this bishop, so he brings out this pawn. But then we forget all about the bishop and then eat this pawn with our knight. Then, after bishop takes back, we eat with our knight. Now, if they capture the bishop, then they are gone. Let me show you how. If we push the knight to this square, then it is a beautiful smothered checkmate. Even if in this position he takes with his knight, we can take back with our other knight. Well, he cannot eat the bishop because the checkmate threat still exists. So he will look forward to bring out this pawn so that he can bring this bishop right there to avoid the checkmate. Now we will eat the knight with our bishop. The queen will now eat back. By doing so, the game is now equal, and how well the white plays, no matter, we can still win the game.